What up, y'all? It's the Real Ball Watcher, grab binoculars, and I'm back with another video. And if you're wondering why is the energy so high after a loss like we just took, after that past Sunday, why is the energy so high? And I will say that was a bad game, but not for the reasons you think. So let's get into it. Now, y'all know me. It's going to be some tape involved. There's going to be some analysis, but it's not going to be the same thing. It's not going to be as much scheme because I don't think the scheme or the player talent is what was wrong. This was just a regular bad game, and we're not used to being regular bad. We still got PTSD from being the worst, most inept team in the league, and I don't think we were that this Sunday, especially if you watch the Dolphins game. But anyways, I think this game solely falls on Dave Canales and his coaching staff. This is the second year in a row that the Panthers have fumbled out of the gates in week 1 and not look like that they're ready to play. Simple as that. And you know that that's the case because last year they couldn't identify the blitz, pick up the blitz protections. They were getting false start flags. The defensive line was getting blown off the ball 5-6 yards. Even Derrick Brown was included in that. We couldn't run a cover 3 where they ran a post where you're simply supposed to pass off the post from the corner to the safety. The safety is biting down on underneath routes on those plays. We already recovered that last year in his debut video. Once again, we're having the same issues, but it's a little bit different. Operational stuff is the first thing that I want to talk about. Play clock management and motions and things like that. Every couple of plays, it just looked like the motion that we had before the snap of the line of scrimmage was at the last second. And I don't know if this is designed this way. If it is, it's not the best design. But you have the ball snapped as the player, before the player passes the center. So there is a chance where you snap the ball and it hits the player who's in motion and it's a fumble. It happens all the time. Usually you want the ball snapped right when he passes. Now, I don't know if that's on Bryce. I don't know if that's on Dave Canales. I don't know if that's on the play design, but it's not good. And if it's on Bryce, that means we didn't prepare this thing in the preseason. If it's on the motion guy, that means we didn't prepare correctly. If it's on Dave Canales, that means that this just play design is not good. And even if it's on the other two, if it's on Bryce and we didn't prepare correctly and all those things, that's still on the coach. You got to make sure that these things are nailed down in week 1. Simple as that. There are way too many motions where the motion is coming right as the ball is snapped. You're waiting for a disaster to happen. You can almost see that the Bryce is kind of rushing him across. Hey, let's get across. Hurry up, snap the ball at the same time. That's not a good operational thing. When you come out the huddle, you should have a plan. It doesn't look like you have a plan when you're doing that. Now, 2, when it comes to operational things, we got to get the playoff. And shout out to Dave Canales because he did not throw his quarterback or anybody under the bus. He took some accountability for it. Not all of it, but he took some accountability. He said, hey, when it comes to the play clock, it's not the fact that I can't, it's not the fact that we're doing it for a scheme-wise thing or some type of strategic-wise thing. I got to get the play in faster. Simple as that. We got to get out the huddle faster. Bryce has to get to the line faster. It's some of both of us. But I do like the fact that he did take accountability for that, but it's still no excuse. This is the same thing that happened last year. We could not get the ball off until it was 1 to 0 seconds left on the play clock. We're kind of rushing to get the ball off once we finally get up to the line, finally get our checks in order, call out our protections, finally shift guys the way we need to. And now, we look up, play clock says 2. Bryce Young is clapping. Hey, snap the ball, we're ready to go now. It didn't clear up until week 3. That's how I know that this is a Dave Canales thing. I guess his teams are just going to fumble out of the gate. I guess that's what it is. But Dave Canales may not even be the worst culprit when it comes to why this game plan failed so much. Bryce Young had a bad game. Simple as that. I'm not here to shoot him no bail. But I will say he had a bad game different from his older bad games. He was running the offense. He was accurate. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks. I want to say he was ranked 4th in the lowest amount of off-target percentage throws. I'll put the stat up if I'm incorrect. But you can see he was in week 1. He was very accurate. He ran the offense. He was on time. He was seeing the field well. He even took shots downfield and took shots, risky plays when he needed to. That's not the same type of bad that we seen in that first year, in those first 2 games of last year when we're talking about he's a bust. This is just your regular bad QB game. That Cowboys game last year, in between his resurgence, where he had too many turnovers and it was a bad game, that it was just like this. This is a game that you can bounce back from if you clean up a couple things. I want to say his receivers had a 15 or 16% drop rate. We're not shooting him bail. This was a bad game, but this was different. And I want to put that out there. I know that we got PTSD, but this is different. But the major factor in why this game was so bad is Austin Corbett. Gang. I was watching film and I was trying to count how many bad snaps I seen. And then I eventually just lost count. I want to say I was at like 9 when I kind of lost count and kind of forgot, either 8 or 9, and I kind of forgot, hey, which one did I leave off on? Because I started focusing on other things. But dog, if we just show a couple of these plays where the snaps are high, it's throwing off the timing of certain plays. It's throwing off the timing of screens. Like when we're trying to run a bubble screen to exhale on that one play, we motion him over, and we're trying to get Tommy Trimble once again motion after he's past the center. The ball snapped and it's high. Bryce has to jump up, catch it, fake the play, and then throw the screen. He can't even do all of that in time because his feet are still in the air from jumping. So he just kind of does it all in one motion and throws it sidearm, cross body with one foot on the ground. We can't do that. When we're trying to run in a short yardage situation, the snap is bad. So Bryce has to corral the snap, give it to Chuba Hubbard, and now the defenders are in a little bit better position to make a play because he didn't hit the hole at the time that he usually would. When we're seeing empty, we're facing empty on that Hunter Renfrow play. The snap is bad. Maybe I'm not shooting Bryce Young bail on this, by the way, because he had pressure immediately from Josh Nijman, who did not have a good game against Josh Hines-Allen. But Bryce Young, if he has a little bit more time, maybe he's able to step into that throw and it's a little more accurate. That's what I'm trying to get across. But then not even off of that, when you go to that 2-minute drill right before halftime, you get that big play to T-Mac up the sideline, throwing that back shoulder. That's what I told y'all in my video multiple times. I could see this being the plays that he's making. He made it. But then you have Austin Corbett as the only person 4 yards downfield trying to block linebackers, bringing the play back. Austin Corbett, I want to say, had a 27 PFF grade. Snaps were bad. It threw off the timing of the offense. It threw off the timing of Bryce's dropbacks. We know that he's a rhythm passer, so he has to stay in rhythm with his feet to be on time and have good, clean footwork to be accurate. It threw off a couple of his passes like that. Overall, Austin Corbett was much bigger of a hindrance to this offense than Bryce Young and maybe even Dave Canales after watching the tape. I hate to put it like that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, the tempo of the offense. Game. When we were getting out in the first quarter and the second quarter, most of the second quarter, it took forever. It's like we're sleepwalking to the line and it's not going well. But when you get to those 2-minute drills that we scored on, not at halftime, we did have to fumble, but that we scored on at the end of the game and the one right before halftime when we're moving quick, the offense looks so much better. I'll let it run. First play of that 2-minute warning, you get that big back shoulder to T-Mac. Boom. Great catch. Austin Corbett messed it up, but whatever it is what it is. Come out after that. Chuba gets an 8-yard run after that. Come out once again. Hey, next play, no huddle. We going right up the seam, right in between the safety and the linebacker. Great hole shot. Took enough off of it to where JT Sanders doesn't have to keep running full speed into the hit, so he protects his man a little bit. Great play. Then we're going to get to the next play. Bryce Young, once again, no huddle. We're starting to move the ball now. We got 20, 30 yards at this point. Right in between the hole of the cover 2. Perfect ball, by the way. Big, I want to say 15 to 18 yard. No, it was about a 20-yard throw in between the hole of cover 2 right to Xavier Leggett. On a line, too. I want to say that. On a line. Really, really good throw with pressure in his face. Didn't really get to step into it. Dot. Xavier Leggett doesn't get both feet down. But let's say he does. At this point, we're in the red zone. And it's because we've been moving with so much urgency before. When we talk about last year, when we played well, it was the urgency of that. We did not have any urgency until the last 2 minutes of the fourth, or I want to say the last 6 minutes, because that's when we scored, the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter and the last 2 minutes of the first half. We got to get that sense of urgency back. That's what we play best at. Now, next thing I want to discuss, which also falls on Dave Canales, the situational play calling. I don't think his play calling was bad. I don't think his concepts were bad per se, like I did week 1 last year. But it was very predictable. It was run, pass. Run, pass. Run, run, pass. Run, screen, pass. Run, screen, pass. Run, run, pass. Run, pass, run. It was very, very predictable. I feel like we need to start throwing more on first down, getting quick, easy completions. Doesn't have to be anything downfield, but run some quick game on first down. If you get a good amount of yards, try to take a shot on second down. Run it on third. Then at that point, hey, it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. Maybe you can go for it. You see, that's what the Jaguars did to start the game, and it set the tone. So I think we need a little bit more nuance. And I'm not saying that Dave Canales can't do this. I want to say I'm not calling for Dave Canales' job because I've seen him do this last year. I've seen him turn it around. Same thing with Bryce. I've seen him turn it around. Same thing with offense. I've seen him turn it around. I'm not saying that. But we need to get to this quicker. We don't need to turn around and happen in week 9 or 10 like it did last year. We need this next week. Simple as that. If we want to make any type of noise. Simple as that. But yeah, the situational play calling just has to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more unexpected. And I think the tempo of the offense has to get back to what it was towards the end of the year last year. Up tempo, getting out the huddle quick, getting up to the line quick, keeping the defense on the field where they're not able to make substitutions as much as they were able to last week and get set in the way that they were able to last week. We don't want them waiting on us to snap the ball. We want them saying, hey, we don't even have enough time to get shuffled and get settled into what we're doing. Not the other way around for us. So those are two major things that I think Dave Canales has to clean up. Matter of fact, before I move on to the next point, Mike K on Twitter at Mike_E_K, K-A-Y-E. Great page. Go follow that. He was a beat writer for the Charlotte Observer for the Panthers. He posted a great thing to show the lack of urgency and commitment to speeding up our process and how long it took for us to do things on offense. I'm going to read this tweet verbatim. The Panthers, while trailing by a score of 2 through the final 3 quarters, had possessions of 4 minutes and 53 seconds and 5 minutes and 15 seconds with 2 and 1 earned first downs respectively on those drives. That means we had the ball for 5 minutes on each of those drives, and we got 2 first downs on the first one, 1 first down on the second one. What is going on? We're draining 5 minutes of the clock, and we're only getting 1 first down. That's ridiculous. They gained 39 yards on the first one and 55 net yards, 26 due to a penalty on the other. Neither led to points. We didn't get points on either of those. They basically ran the clock out themselves. That's what Mike K had to say. And that's what I mean when I say this sense of urgency. Especially once we got into a hole. Once we got down by 10 points, we should be getting up to the line and getting going. We should not be down 2 scores and we're just sleepwalking to the line, like I said. Another beef I have with Dave Canales. Where are your rooks? He talked about it in the post-game presser. And he talked about it in the presser today. He is urging Ejiro Evero and the defensive staff to get the younger guys out there a lot more. He wants to see Lathan Ransom play more, but I also assume he means the rookie edge rushers because he should. Brother, you're the head coach. Tell them boys to put them boys out there. Simple as that. There's no reason that Nick Scorton, I think the best edge rusher, or at least second best behind DJ Wanham, your best pass rusher, is getting 18 snaps or 17 defensive snaps for the entire game, and only 6 of those are against the pass. He only has 6 snaps the entire game of a 66 play or 67 play game to rush the passer. Princey Uwami-Ellen, took him in the 3rd round, great pick. He only played 8 snaps the entire game and had 5 opportunities to rush the passer. Lathan Ransom, I wasn't even the biggest fan of that pick, but if you're going to take him, you're going to gas him up so much in the preseason, play him a lot, talk about how great he's been in camp. The social media's team posted all these highlights just for him to play 8 plays for the entire game out of a 67-play game on defense. Take it off of the guys that are rookies. Damani Richardson did not see the field. 2nd-year player, undrafted guy, played a lot last year and played well. He was our best safety last year. He did not see the field the entire game. That is unacceptable. If you're going to go with the youth movement, trading Adam Thielen, trading Deontay Johnson whenever he started doing that weird stuff, I'll give it to you. Whatever. Hey, whatever. Cutting Jadeveon Clowney, cutting Xavier Woods, cutting all of these vets and going with this youth movement. Josie Jewell has some injury issues, but you're not going to bring back Shaq Thompson. You're going to let go of Josie Jewell before he can get healthy and maybe contribute. Play your rookies. Play your second year guys who made an impact last year and made an impact in the preseason. Rotate these guys and give them opportunities. Dave Canales agrees with me, but I need to see it happen on the field. I should be putting out cut-ups that are 2-3 minutes long of Nick Scourton and Prince Lumami Yellen and Lathan Ransom. I should be putting out a cut-up for Damani Richardson. I should be putting out a cut-up for, Thornton. I can't remember his first name. Jacory, or is it Dante Thornton? One of them, Thornton. I should be putting out more cut-ups of Thornton. Why are these guys not seeing the field? With that being said, I do think that most of this game is coaching, but I do think most of this is fixable. And I still have hope for this season. This has been a Real Ball Watcher. Put it in binoculars. I'm out. See you next week. Hopefully we got something better to talk about.